This evening, we discuss the queer headlines. New PrEP advances could end HIV, but access barriers, funding cuts, and inequities leave many in South Florida unprotected.
Trump touts strong LGBTQ support, cites YMCA as campaign anthem, but the man who wrote the song rejects labeling it as gay cultural symbol.
Gay Iranian refugee recounts torture, forced executions, viewing, and death sentences, highlighting brutal persecution in Iran before escaping to safety in Spain.
AARP highlights sexual fluidity, showing that many older adults discover same-sex attraction later in life. Advocates say embracing identity, courage, and authentic self-realization can happen at any stage in life.
A tribute mural for a slain refugee sparks backlash over alleged political ties, raising concerns about consent, intent, and queer space.
All this important LGBTQ plus news and more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views. We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our rainbow family. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, March 31st. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell you this evening on Queer News Tonight as we celebrate Transgender Day of Visibility.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community. Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors on Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Patrik Gallineaux, the former global LGBTQ+ ambassador for 16 years at Stoli Group. He founded Dancing with the Drag Stars in 2009, raising funds for HIV/AIDS support. He's on the board of the new Gray Box Theater in Wilton Manors, is also a columnist, charity event producer, and most recently he helped to create the host the new national drag competition, If the Shoe Fits. Patrik, Miami Beach Pride returns to the Star-Studded Festival and Parade from April 2nd through the 12th. Tell me, what's happening out?
Well, Vaughn, Miami Beach Pride returns from April 2nd to April 12th with a powerful theme of Pride is Infinite, celebrating the infinite diversity, creativity, and strength of our resilient LGBTQ plus community. Bringing 10 full days of inclusive and vibrant LGBTQ plus celebrations across Miami Beach, the festivities kick off this Thursday with the annual Pride flag raising ceremony, followed by Pride on the Road. This Saturday, the family picnic with appearances by the Easter Bunny. Monday, it's the Queer Art Showcase at the Moxie Hotel. On Wednesday, the Mr. and Miss Miami Beach Pride pageant. Friday, the highly anticipated Drag Me to Pride on Loomis Park and the beach, and it all accumulates with the parade and festival, April 11th and 12th at Loomis Park and Ocean Drive. The free festival on April 11th and 12th features powerhouse performances from Princess Nokia, Crystal Method, Latrice Royale, and David Archuleta, alongside dynamic DJ sets across multiple stages. The iconic Miami Beach Pride Parade takes over Ocean Drive as the greatest show on earth on Sunday, April 12th, celebrating love, visibility, and community. With drag shows, live music, art, and community events, there's something for everyone. Join thousands in this colorful, inclusive celebration. More details are available at miamibeachpride.com, and be sure to follow Miami Beach Pride on Instagram. Well,
That's a lot.
it's a lot. And you know, for being only 18 years old and having visited a tremendous number of Pride festivals and parades around the world, I think Miami Beach Pride truly excels in its inclusiveness and the breadth of programming that it offers to our community. And what a timely moment for a theme of Pride is Infinite, representing that Pride is limitless, transcends generations, gender identities. It is an unstoppable force that cannot be erased. Part of what Miami Beach Pride does so well is to give back. And I like to remind people who might not know that Miami Beach Pride, through the festival and monies raised, supports a wonderful program called the Angels Program, which provides mentorship, development, and scholarships for LGBTQ plus youth. Miami Beach Pride also celebrates our legacy couples, with couples that have been together for 10 years or more. I've seen couples 50 years plus, and they give me goosebumps when they go by in the parade. It makes me remember I need to get out there and date. But also, just added and announced yesterday, which I think represents Pride is Infinite and the unstoppability of our community, is that, you know, you may have heard that we've been fighting to keep our rainbow crosswalks. And while we have had some disappointments, such as less than 6 months ago, Miami Beach's gorgeous individual brick installation of thousands of bricks was shamefully ripped out overnight by the Florida Department of Transportation. It was just announced that a week from Friday at 10 a.m. in the morning at 12th and Ocean Drive, the city of Miami Beach is replacing those bricks, over 6,600 of them, on the sidewalk opposite where the crosswalk was, Oceanside. And there will be a plaque telling the story of why the rainbow crosswalk was important, what happened, holding some people accountable. And then I'm told there will be 2 benches, a traditional rainbow bench and a progress flag bench, facing where the crosswalk was. So if this doesn't represent Pride is Infinite, that we are unstoppable, and wow, what a way to take lemons and turn it into sparkly, glittery lemonade. There you go. And by the way, thank you to Happening Out and Hotspots for being one of the lead media sponsors for Miami Beach Pride this year.
And I'd like to thank our city commissioners, Miami Beach commissioners,
Yes.
and the mayor, because they helped get this through. They helped make this happen. They saw, some of them were there, and I was there when they were ripping out. It was physically ripping this out, all these bricks out. And it was very emotional that day. And to know that they stood up for the community and stood up for everyone, going, we need this back. It's for everyone. It gives joy. It gives art. And then and it's just timely that it's right in time for Pride. So everybody that comes to enjoy all our events that weekend, from, you see parents with kids, you see grandparents, you see all across. Everybody there is welcome. Everybody there enjoys. There's something for everyone. And just to see all those smiles and everybody just getting along and dancing and speaking and just outside in the sun, which we appreciate in South Florida.
Yes.
It's great to have this back.
I mean, here we are, it's April, right? And it's starting to become April. I should say end of March. I can't believe it. It'll be July 4th next week. But the idea of coming to Pride is so important today, more so than ever, and we have a lot of communities that do Pride weekends. And it's time for all of us to step up and start attending these events. They need your visibility to come to these events. Whether it's here in Wilton Manors, whether it's Miami, whether it's West Palm, any of them, start going to them, make the effort to actually show up and be present, because presence is everything right now in this country. So.
And we really do Pride despite all of the obstacles that we've faced in Florida. We, I think, have proven to be, the most resilient state, leading the way and showing how you move ahead. And by the way, how many prides get to be held in the sun on a beach? And the festival, by the way, has such inclusive programming. There are 5 different stages and pavilions. There's a Gilead Trans Pavilion. There is the Women's Garden of Eden Pavilion. Of course, there's the AHF main stage where we'll have all of our biggest entertainment. We have the One Magical Weekend Dance Pavilion, and much more. So remember, you are included at Miami Beach Pride. You are seen and you are heard. And by the way, I'll be once again the judge captain for the Miami Beach Pride Parade. Yeah. So stop by and see us in front of Palace. All right.
For those who want to know, we're not going anywhere. We have our dates for 2027. So
we do.
We're not going anywhere.
Luis, you have all the dirt, don't you? Yes.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Miami Beach Pride from April 2nd through the 12th. Let's welcome anchor Louise Rodriguez. Born and raised in Miami, Louise is deeply rooted in South Florida's LGBTQ+ community. A graduate of the University of South Florida, he serves as office manager at Twist nightclub in Miami Beach. Dedicated to service, Louise has volunteered with numerous organizations and currently sits on the board of directors for both Miami Beach Pride and the Outshine LGBTQ+ Film Festival. Welcome to the show, Louise.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad Pride is coming up. And then also Outshine Film Festival will be coming up at the end of April. So you can go online, outshinefilmfestival.com, and look up our schedule. Looking forward to a lot of events this year.
Awesome. Great.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor with the biggest brooches in show business. It's our lead anchor, Vaughn Biggs. Vaughn is a force in LGBTQ+ and HIV justice, using his skills as a national speaker, writer, and passionate HIV empowerment advocate. He pushes back against stigma and complacency with unapologetic truth. Vaughn is the community engagement coordinator for Holy Cross Health, executive committee member for the National HIV Aging Advocacy Network, and a founding board member of Trans Ed. Vaughn, Glow with Pride lights up Miami night on April 4. Tell me, Vaughn, what's happening now?
That's right, Patrick. Well, get ready to shine with Glow with Pride on Saturday, April 4th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Makana Kava. Hosted by Out My Closet, this vibrant nighttime celebration transforms the Makana back parking lot into a glowing playground of queer joy, connection, and community. Attendees can expect an electric mix of live performances, music, community games, delicious food, and exciting prizes, all set under a radiant Pride atmosphere. Registration is required, so be sure to secure your spot in advance. Whether you're coming with friends or flying solo, bring your glow and your pride. RSVP is required by sending an email to info@outmycloset.org. This is the second event I've gone of Michael's that runs this organization. And the first one I went to was for Valentine's Day, and it was just amazing to see what he does in community, how he brings people together and talk about things that we're not talking about that we should be talking about in the community. But he does it in a fun way. So it's always doing something like Glow, and with Pride coming up, obviously with Miami Pride, it's like it's going to be a perfect fit and a perfect mixture. But to bring people together in the community to start having conversations is, to me, just, we needed to have more of that.
Absolutely. I've watched Michael and Out My Closet in action, including with a trip that we took with some activists from New York City to Havana, Cuba, to bring over 30 suitcases full of clothes for the transgender community in Havana. And this event looks amazing. As soon as I'm done with the Miami Beach Pride family picnic, I'm coming back to go to this event.
Right.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Glow with Pride on April 4th.
I'm Vaughn Biggs, and let's queer up health. Florida has the tools to end HIV. Access may be the missing piece. That is the exact tension outlined in a new article published this month in JAMA. The article describes pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, as one of the greatest inventions in medical history. When taken as prescribed, PrEP offers near complete protection against HIV, and the science keeps advancing. Today, we have more prevention options than ever before. We have daily oral PrEP, injectable PrEP every 2 months, and now a long-acting injectable option that only needs to be given twice a year. That is the promise. But here is the concern. Despite these advances, JAMA reports that more than 38,000 people were newly diagnosed with HIV in the United States in 2024. And only about 1/3 of the people who could benefit from PrEP are actually receiving it. The barrier is not the medication. The barrier is access. Experts quoted in the article point to funding cuts, insurance obstacles, and reduced clinic capacity as growing threats to continued progress. These barriers fall hardest in communities in the South, communities of color, and people already facing healthcare instability. According to infectious disease physician Anna Person, we have everything that is needed to end the epidemic. But she also warns that policy and funding decisions are not keeping pace with medical innovation. That is the tension of this moment. On the pro side, biomedical science has delivered tools powerful enough to end HIV transmission. But on the con side, political choices risk undoing more than a decade of hard-won gains. Florida has the tools. The question is whether we will use them. You know, it just becomes very interesting when I read the story, read the article, and I said I wanted to report on it because we hear in the community about the low uptake of PrEP and why people don't take it, or why they're not, specifically in our Black and brown communities, and why they don't have access. And you think about where they live, there are no clinics in their area. A lot of them may not have insurance, but they also need the education. I always say education, but I hate using that word because to me it just seems like it's not enough. But it's truly what it is. It's educating them that they can take this medication, that they can get it in some cases free. The problem is what's going to happen with funding. And the numbers continue to show the science is proven. It will prevent. We've just got people to take it because we have too many people that are being newly diagnosed that should not be because the medication access is there.
The access, the flow of information. The flow of information is really difficult for some people because you don't just get it online. You're not just getting it from Facebook or Instagram. There needs to be more flow from people that actually face-to-face talk, the interaction. So a lot of people get their information that way. And then some communities have misinformation. And that's where some of the stigma comes, and they won't go to the doctor. They won't try to get access to all this great medications that are out to help and support you. So access to information is very much key to getting people out there and healthier.
Another component of that is a lot of our doctors, because these are injectable medicines, right? And some of them, they have to be administered in the clinic. And that to have that access, not every doctor out in Broward County is doing injectable PrEP. So they're going to refer patients, which may also create that delay in that access because they're like, I'm not going to go there for that, you know, and so they don't take it at all. And that's sad, especially when we look at women who maybe want to go on PrEP for whatever the reason they want to, they should, but they don't want anybody to know about it. So but they're going to have to go somewhere to get that, and we need all of our doctors to step up and start asking the questions and prescribing PrEP.
And get everyone in politics on the right side of history, advocating for all that you've just mentioned, right? I'm Patrik Gallineaux, and let's queer up gay culture. Trump calls YMCA gay anthem again. Village People songwriter disputes claim. In a recent Fox News phone interview, President Donald Trump claimed strong support from LGBTQ voters while referencing his campaign music choices. During a discussion about Iran's leadership, Trump shifted naturally to what he described as the gay vote. He said, quote, "I did very well with the gay vote. I even played the gay national anthem as my walk-off, and I think it probably helped me. But I did great. No Republicans ever got the gay vote like I did, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's great. Perhaps it's because I'm from New York City. I don't know. But the gay national anthem was my walk-off," unquote. Okay, so Trump appeared to refer to YMCA, the 1978 hit by the Village People, a song long associated with queer culture due to interpretations of its lyrics and its popularity within gay communities, and everyone looked like they're from Tom's of Finland, right? However, Victor Willis, the group's lead singer and songwriter, has consistently rejected the label. He reiterated in 2024 that he did not intend for YMCA to be a gay anthem, and rather warned that such assumptions were damaging to the song. Well, as the official international vice president of the gay agenda, I can confirm that most all of us did not vote for Donald Trump at all. YMCA gay? Well, most likely, and it was pointed out before taping that Queer News Tonight did report in 2024 that lead singer Victor Willis was threatening legal action against anyone who publicly claimed that the song YMCA was gay. So I think this would be a perfect time for Mr. Willis to go ahead and sue the current president of the United States, Donald Trump.
There we go.
Yeah. Right. Gay voters raising a finger does not equate gay votes. So I'm Luis Rodriguez, and let's queer up the worldview. Gay Iranian refugee says he was forced to watch executions to, quote, know how they were going to kill us. A gay Iranian refugee has shared harrowing details of abuse he endured during being arrested in Iran, including being forced to watch executions. Activist Ramtin Zigorat, now living in Spain after fleeing Iran 6.5 years ago, said he spent 40 days in a detention center where he faced severe mistreatment. Zigorat described experiencing physical and psychological torture, saying he was beaten, recorded, urinated on, and treated like an animal. After being sentenced to several death penalties on charges including being a spy, for sharing homosexual diseases, and for going against Islam, he was transferred to another prison. He told El Mundo America, quote, "Every morning they forced us to look out a window at the courtyard where they executed people so we would know how they were going to kill us. We had to watch for 5 minutes while they died. If we closed our eyes, they would beat us. I still have nightmares about that," unquote. Zagorat eventually escaped Iran with help from his family. And this is not isolated. He's not the only one. He's lucky that he had family support to get out and to be able to tell the story. But this is not an isolated issue with some of these countries that persecute homosexuality.
It's horrific. And, for as many troubles as we do have in this country and in this state at times, seeing this sort of story, as you just reported, really is sobering, because we have to realize we don't have it anywhere near as bad as we think.
Right. We see countries, especially with when they have prisoners, that torture is a very common element, whereas we don't tend to have that here per se, but there in other countries it seems to be something that happens a lot.
But isn't that a path we could be heading to, a worst case scenario? I mean, that also terrifies me, is that we've come so far, but then we see things being eroded systematically by people who know exactly what they're doing. Right. And worst case scenario, we could end up with exactly that sort of story being reported about this country if we don't continue to be the powerful activists we are and we report on here at Queer News Tonight. Yes.
I'm Bon Biggs, and let's queer up health. Attraction can evolve through life. New research shows many older adults discover their truth later on. AARP is shining a new light on something many people experience but rarely talk about. In its recent feature, certified sex therapist Sari Cooper explains that our attractions can be fluid and evolve at any age due to emotional growth and changes in sexual attitudes. The article follows a woman who discovers same-sex attraction after decades in a traditional marriage. Marriage and family therapist Tamika N. notes that this is far more common among older adults than many people realize, and this is not limited to women. A review from the University of Utah found that men also experience meaningful shifts in desire and identity. Psychologist Lisa M. Diamond describes sexual fluidity as a capacity for situation-dependent flexibility and sexual responsiveness, and reports that these changes occur across many cultures and many points in life. In the end, this is about more than attraction changing. It is about the courage it takes to listen to yourself after years or even decades of staying quiet for the sake of others. It is about understanding that identity does not freeze in time, and that many adults discover a deeper truth about themselves only when life finally gives them the space to notice it. For those who come out later in life, the journey is not a detour. It is a return to honesty, a return to self, and a return to a life that finally feels real. The truth is simple. We do not arrive early or late. We arrive the moment we are ready to live as who we truly are. And I just love that. That just sums it up right there. As someone like me who did come out late in life, and I have been in a 32-year marriage and having 2 kids and gone through divorces and remarriage and really having the opportunity to, once I found out who I was, once I had the opportunity to sit back separate from everybody and not be the caretaker, as some of us are in families, that I was able to really, examine myself and see what it was that I wanted. So this resonates very well with me as a story. It's also, I talk about it in the book I'm writing. So it's very, very interesting, because I just find that is so true. And a lot of times we've talked about, I love that it featured a woman initially in this article, because so many we've seen our lesbian couples, people would see ladies together later in years and never know what the situation was, but it all comes down, and it's not necessarily sexual attraction, but it's that energy connection with somebody, right? Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
I think the nature of the whole universe is to be fluid, and it's an elevated way of being that resonates with who we truly are. And it is so beautiful, because like you were saying, Vaughn, in your own life, you were being a caretaker and you weren't able to focus on yourself, but it was always there, right? And when the time was right, you evolved.
Right.
And you didn't lose anything you were,
right.
But you gained everything else. And I feel bad for all these people out there. And I think it's most of the homophobes and the people who gay bash. They have these truths inside themselves, but they're trying so hard to self-loathe and lash out at the beauty they see in others that they don't possess.
Right.
So we have to be better teachers, don't we? Yep. And just like you are speaking your truth, Vaughn, and you're writing your book, that's what I would hope for what you're doing with your teaching, is that it helps those people who are so wrapped up inside to come to Miami Beach Pride.
Yes.
Where pride is infinite.
That's right.
It's the way that families have evolved in many years, and having companionship and having loving relationships that evolve and grow is such a great thing. And to know that there's someone out there that can grow and live with you and be part of your family, whether they're same sex or not, is a lovely and beautiful thing that we want to support and enjoy.
Exactly.
And relationships don't necessarily have to have anything to do with sex, do they? You see opposite sex couples who get older and are so in love, and that may likely in most cases have transcended to something else, right? So
Love it.
Oh, yay. I'm Patrik Gallineaux, and let's queer up the USA view. Providence Halts mural tied to Musk-Backed campaign after LGBTQ community and mayor raise concerns. A mural honoring a slain Ukrainian refugee has ignited controversy in Providence, Rhode Island, after links to a national campaign reportedly backed by Elon Musk surfaced. This is drawing backlash from the queer community and city officials. The plan includes creating murals of Zarutska in cities across America. The artwork, painted on the side of gay bar The Dark Lady, depicts Irina Zarutska, who was killed last year in North Carolina. The project was halted after concerns emerged over political motivations and a lack of city authorization. Providence Mayor Brett Smiley has called for the mural's removal, while officials noted the project had not been properly registered with the city. Artist Ian Gaudreau defended the work, saying, "I would like everyone to know that the artwork is meant to combat the idea of it being used for a political agenda," and that was a quote and now unquote. But the controversy intensified after reports revealed the mural is part of a broader campaign funded by a $1 million donation from Musk alongside additional contributions from Intercom CEO Johan McCabe, who is a Trump supporter. However, the owners of the bar emphasized that the mural's intent was remembrance. They issued a statement saying, quote, "This specific mural was created for our community to honor Irina's memory, mental wellness, LGBTQIA+ rights, immigration, the war, unity, and anti-Trump politics," unquote. Well, this resonates with me in particular because I do have some experience with working with cities and gay bars and creating murals. In 2018, I commissioned and had painted a mural of Harvey Milk in San Francisco on a gay bar called The Cafe to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Harvey Milk being elected to public office. And it was funded by Stoli, the company I worked for, with great intentions. But what I learned was there are a lot of regulations around painting a mural on any bar because of liquor regulations. And I learned I had to be absolutely impeccable in explaining my intent by working with the Milk family, having their sign off and Stuart Milk being present. I had to research the artist, make sure his intent. And then I actually had to push back against the entities above me and say, no, you can't have any logos. This is just going to be pure Harvey Milk. And it worked, and it was beautiful. Now, I've done some research into this artist and have read his words. I'm following him on social. And what I can see is an enlightened, authentic artist who truly believes that he was creating something for a community and is confused. I believe that Bar, the Dark Lady, also believes the same. And we can certainly say there's enough evidence that that Musk has done some things that have been in alignment with Trump and disastrous for our community. But there sometimes has to be a place where you look at what is the pure intent. Has the bar and the artist been able to take control of funding that maybe came from a questionable place, but has turned it into something almost like saying, na, 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 right? And I would have to see the marketing deck and the plan for all the rest that they're doing around the country to understand if there's more going on. But in this case, I almost want to stand on the side of the artist and keep the artwork. What do you gentlemen think?
We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
And the more I thought about it, it was a matter of, it's what the artist is saying.
Yeah.
And there may be $1 million tied to it, but what was the intent of that $1 million? Was there stipulations that this was supposed to be something political?
Right.
I almost have to say, I don't believe that there's that much thought in it versus a philanthropy monetary amount gone to the arts.
Yeah. If the person on the street is walking by this mural, they're not going to know where the money came from. They're going to experience and interact with the art as it is.
Right.
And what the artist and the intent is to interact with the art and get some speaking, some emotion, some value out of it that will engage people in conversations of what happened to this lady, what happened with violence, and the discussion on how to stop this, and the art is something beautiful, that something beautiful can come out of tragedy, and have people discuss and have it in a good way. That's a plus. Let the people interact with it and let them come up with their own opinion.
It also shows, though, have your I's and your I's dotted and your T's crossed when you're dealing with city officials on painting something on buildings or getting permits, because we've seen that way too many times.
Yes.
People do something and there were no approvals.
Yes,
Right.
we have to make sure to really, we really do our research these days with the law and city regulations.
Right.
But
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up health. LGBTQ healthcare faces strain from bias and burnout. In a January 2026 article published in Scientific Reports, researchers write that LGBTQIA+ communities continue to face prejudice, discrimination, and inequities in the healthcare system. which make care harder to deliver and harder to sustain. The authors warn that these conditions contribute to health system limitations that reduce capacity and weaken access to timely, appropriate care. Those same pressures land directly on healthcare workers, especially clinicians serving marginalized communities where emotional strain, staffing shortages, and system instability collide. As demand grows and resources stretch thinner, workforce burnout is becoming a structural issue, not an individual one. If we want affirming care to survive, we have to make sure that people delivering it can stay. You know, I find this very interesting. We've seen a lot of reports about healthcare and things that have come out, and they've never really tackled the aspects of burnout from that respect. And you think about what's going on in our country right now, and our clinicians who work in healthcare systems, you know, the doctor's not the ones, it's not their own individual practice, right? So they're dealing with what they have to do within the confines of their organization structure and what they're requiring them to do. But at the same time, all the stuff that the patients are bringing to them for issues in the community, it starts to create that stress level, right? And then people are getting behind. There's staff shortages. I see it happening. I can see this now as like a warning label that we didn't see coming.
Wow. And especially if you are empathetic as a healthcare provider, which by all means, ideally everyone should be.
Right.
I would imagine you're going to feel such a struggle because you're the one providing the direct care, but there are regulations beyond your control, as we've seen in the state of Florida.
Right.
And you want to help someone, but then you are literally, you're the good guy.
Right.
Being made to feel like the bad guy.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, but the poor support for all these healthcare workers that actually do care.
Yes.
And having to deal with this daily. And that's not including their own lives, that they have their own health issues or having to.
What healthcare providers have their own lives?
So then it just, knowing people that work in healthcare, that they care so much and give so much. And then that's just emotionally and physically. And having to deal with all these people, multiple things, and just sometimes you have to relax and try to let it go, but they can't.
Right. Nope. Right.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up sports. Only one out trans woman in Olympic history, and now IOC has banned trans women. The International Olympic Committee has confirmed that transgender women will be banned from female categories starting at the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games under a new policy it calls, quote, evidence-based and expert-informed, unquote. And if this makes you wonder how many transgender women have competed in the Olympics so far, then the answer is 1. History shows that only one openly transgender woman has ever competed, and her name is Laurel Hubbard. She participated in Tokyo 2020 as a weightlifter representing New Zealand, but did not medal. No openly trans women competed in Paris in 2024, and none have medaled. Meanwhile, Quinn, one word name, became the first openly transgender and non-binary Olympic medalist, but does not identify as a trans woman. Well, obviously, I mean, I just read that story. It's frigging ridiculous, right? It's completely ridiculous. And here's what I would say, all right? If all these committees and governances are going to go so far as to say that trans women cannot compete in the Olympics, well, it is time that we create structures and teams in high schools and even before elementary for trans kids, trans youth, trans young adults to have their own trans teams, because there are enough trans female athletes out there to do that if we'd stop bashing them and telling people that trans don't exist.
And telling people you can't do it, you can do it.
Yes.
Yep.
Get out there and it trickles down to the youth. So what message are we giving to them? That you can't participate? We want them to participate.
Yes.
We want them to be there. So I love that idea of having trans sports.
Yes, if you're going to say you can't compete in the Olympics, well then give the trans community what they deserve and celebrate them with a whole trans Olympics.
Right.
And get the trans men their own Olympics too. Right?
Exactly.
1 Minute News, let's clear up entertainment. Zootopia 2 revives LGBTQ plus representation talk. Disney's Zootopia 2, recently released on Disney Plus, is reigniting conversations about LGBTQ plus representation in the franchise. Fans initially speculated that Nibbles Maplestick, voiced by lesbian comedian Fortune Feimster, would be, quote, Disney's first openly gay character, unquote. However, the film does not explicitly confirm the character's sexuality. The franchise already includes 2 confirmed gay characters, Bucky and Pronx Oryx Anderson. The pair returns in Zootopia 2. However, Zootopia 2 has once again prompted attention to the LGBTQ plus representation within Disney films. This is a family film, and this is showing families in different ways. Right. Family representation has nothing to do with they're sleeping with, not sleeping with. It's showing all the different families, all the different rainbows of families. This is not the only film that has shown same-sex couples in one of their films. It just, people nitpick it. And this had to do part of the plot, part of the story, not really just showing normal people doing normal things.
And let's just add to this that it is normal in our animal kingdom that there are same-sex couples in animal kingdoms, period.
Yeah.
Has been way before us. So
true. And this is, cartoons and animation should be joyous for all people, whether you're a child or an adult, and to see reflections of who you are or might be in a family-friendly way is so important, right? So
representation.
Yay.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up USA View. Republican Lindsey Graham dines at Disney World amid ongoing government shutdown. As a partial government shutdown disrupting U.S. airports entered its 6th week on Sunday, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham was seen dining at Walt Disney World in Orlando. The photos published by TMZ show him at Chef Mickey's inside Disney's Contemporary Resort, accompanied by an unidentified younger woman and a kid. The images are part of a broader TMZ effort highlighting lawmakers traveling during the federal government partial shutdown. I was stuck in that shutdown at TSA, wasn't happy about it. They need to get that fixed. I'm ready for that to get over with, but Lindsey Graham?
Well, I heard his favorite thing to do at Disney is Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Oh my gosh.
How about you, Louis?
How about you?
Oh, well. I'm fine because Chef Mickey's the one for the kids, so I think he's going after Goofy.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up Black community. Billy Porter warns opportunities shrinking for Black and queer artists in Trump era. Actor and activist Billy Porter says opportunities are slowly drying up for Black and queer artists as concerns grow over President Donald Trump's cultural agenda. Speaking during widespread No Kings protests, Porter linked the fight for artistic freedom to broader political resistance. Porter said, quote, "Authoritarian governments go after the arts first, because the arts have the power to reach inside of people and change the molecular structure from the inside out," unquote. Reflecting on his career, he added, quote, "As a Black gay out artist, I have noticed the opportunities drying slowly up for the work that I do," unquote. I first met Billy Porter in New York City in the early 90s at an apartment where there was a bunch of us who were struggling young artists who all dreamed of these careers on Broadway. Very few of us ended up actually on Broadway and as successful as Billy, except maybe me because I'm co-anchoring Queer News Tonight. But truly I had a conversation with Billy in the kitchen, and he was very enlightened and very hopeful and a lot softer than he is today. And we watched him over the years keep trying and working and make a movie, and he went through a period we really didn't see him, but he persevered. He found a level of success later in life that so many people don't. He has been through the hardship. He has witnessed it. He really does know what he's talking about. And I believe music is one of the most magical forces. And in fact, it does change people, as he said, at a molecular level. So when Billy preaches, listen.
That was an amazing quote. Because when you say it, you're like, wow. It does. It really impacts you.
It does. And it is sad to, again, as he was commenting, that we are watching the degradation of so much beauty in our world. And again, it hurts all of us to see specifically opportunities for Black artists being eroding, right?
Yep.
So
these are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. Our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ community.
if our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and the Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Vaughn Biggs, and I thank you for joining us on behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, Patrik Gallineaux and Louise Rodriguez. We see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we wish you a good night.